Hello everyone. Myself Rashmi Arora, Assistant Professor Pharmacology, welcomes you all to the YouTube channel of Chameli Devi Institute of Pharmacy, Indore. Today, in this presentation, we will continue with the part 2 of Pharmacology of Anti-Anginal Agents. In the part 1, we have already discussed the pharmacology of nitrates, beta blockers, calcium antagonists, and potassium channel activators. Today, we will take up antiplatelets and thrombolytic agents. In antiplatelets, aspirin and clopidogrel, two members we will going to discuss, and in thrombolytic agents, streptokinase, alteplase, and retaplase are the agents which are acting as an anti-anginal agent. So first of all, we will take up aspirin. Aspirin is basically a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent. It is a non-selective agent which inhibits both COX-1 and COX-2 enzymes. The antiplatelet effect of aspirin has come up with the inhibition of thromboxane A2 basically. The major use of aspirin is in thromboembolic cardiovascular aplasty and in ischemic heart disease. Contraindications for aspirin are those under the age of 16 years can increase the incidence of Reye's syndrome, and gastrointestinal ulcers are the common cause of aspirin. Bleeding disorders because the gastrointestinal lining gets weakened up, and gout and hypersensitivity if there to any non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent, and it also decreases the glomerular filtration rate. It should be used in caution with the asthmatics where the hypertension has not been controlled with the medication, in any allergic diseases, and G6PD deficiency or in dehydration. Aspirin should not be used. If aspirin is taken in excess amount, it can lead to toxicity in the ears which may lead to deafness. It is ototoxic in overdose. It may increase the effect of sulfonylureas and of methotrexate as well. For analgesic effect, 300 to 900 mg 4 to 6 hourly, and maximum up to 4 grams per day dose is sufficient, and it should be stopped 7 days before the surgery if significant bleeding is expected. If the cardiac surgery or the patient has acute coronary syndrome, and it should be considered as a continuing drug. Second is clopidogrel. Clopidogrel is ATP receptor antagonist, and it is used basically in the prophylaxis of antithrombotic events in non-ST segment elevation myocardial infarction, and in ST segment elevation myocardial infarction it is used in combination with aspirin. Ischemic cerebrovascular accidents within 7 days to 6 months of it can be used as an agent to control the anginal attack for future, and it is also used in peripheral arterial disease. It is contraindicated in active bleeding cases. When there is already bleeding inside the body or outside, it should not be given. It is not recommended with warfarin. Side effects are hemorrhage, gastrointestinal upset, peptic ulcers, pancreatitis, headache, rashes, and dizziness. It should be suggested that to monitor full blood for clopidogrel effect and the signs of occult bleeding. Then is another member thrombolytic agent, streptokinase. Streptokinase increases the plasminogen conversion to plasmin, which increases the fibrin breakdown, and it is used in myocardial infarction, thromboembolism, pulmonary embolism, retinal artery thrombosis, and deep vein thrombosis. Alteplase is a recombinant type of tissue plasminogen activator, and it is fibrin lytic agent again, and it is used in acute myocardial infarction, with the dose of 100 mg. Regimen depends upon the time since the onset of the pain and up to 6 hours. Decrease in the dose is recommended if the patient weighs less than 65 kg. Relteplase is another recombinant plasminogen activator which has a thrombolytic activity, and it is used only and only in myocardial infarction, and doses 10 units as slow intravenous injection over 2 minutes, and it should be repeated every after 30 minutes. Then coming down to the drug therapy of acute myocardial infarction, as we have already discussed that alteplase and relteplase are used in this kind of condition. Basically, myocardial infarction is the portion of a heart which get undergo necrosis due to repeated attacks of angina. So myocardial infarction is coagulative necrosis of a part of cardiac muscles as a result of sudden or persistent cessation of its blood supply. Short episodes of angina leads to myocardial infarction. All the patients should be admitted to coronary care unit when experiencing infarction. Drug therapy for acute myocardial infarction is to increase the pulmonary oxygen level, to relieve the pain with the use of opioid analgesics like morphine or mepridine, then sedation to calm the patient with diazepam, and measure the limit the size of infarction by beta blockers and nitroglycerins or calcium channel blockers. Also, we can add up the fibrinolytic therapy, streptokinase, anticoagulants, and antiarrhythmic agents. Also, the control of risk factors like smoking should be seized out, physical activity control, hypertension, obesity, diabetes, and lipid levels. So, this is the pharmacological approach of curing angina and myocardial infarction due to repeated angina. Angioplasty is another approach, which is a surgical approach in which stent has been placed with the ballooning therapy. In this, you can see in the first figure that the vessel is coagulated with, or it has a less curvature for the blood to pass through because of the deposition of plaque on the peripheral part, and the stent with balloon is inserted into the partially blocked artery and then get inflated to expand the stent, and then the balloon gets removed from the expanded stent and the stent remains inside the vessel which don't allow the vessel to get contracted. This is very successful surgical approach in cases of arteriosclerosis where the stenosis of small vessels takes place. So ballooning is very successful surgical approach for ensuring the complete flow of oxygenated blood to various parts of the heart. Non-pharmacological approach, we have to quit smoking, have to regularly control the weight, have a check on that. Always do regular checkup on your low density lipoproteins, LDL, which is a bad cholesterol, and take proper rest, avoid stress, and other approaches like eating habits that should be changed accordingly. Like for the healthy heart, the patient should put himself or herself on strawberries, onions, potatoes, squash, bananas, cashew, mango, and grapes. Lots and lots of berries, they have the antioxidant property, so try to include that in your meal so that your heart becomes healthy and can survive for longer duration. So that's all for the pharmacology of anti-anginal agent. Thank you.